Hello, everybody. It is Goonly Mead here, Lee Meadows, back here for Gooner Gathering for a little bit of a review for the Fulham game that happened over New Year's Eve. Want to wish all our viewers a very happy New Year. Hope you had celebrated it well, and everybody's keeping really well. It wasn't a great end to 2023 for the Arsenal, was it? We've finished up the year, 2 defeats on the bounce, unfortunately. We'll go through some of that. We'll go through some of the news that's coming in on the back of them defeats. Right, let's start it off with bringing obviously some the team news, which you obviously would know. The 3 changes that came in. Kivior came in, started at left back in the place of Zinchenko, who picked up an injury, the serious of which is undisclosed at the moment. Kai Havertz came back into the side following his suspension, replacing Trossard. And the big news, of course, was Eddie Nketiah leading the line in place of Gabriel Jesus. Now, in terms of the start of the game, do you know what? It couldn't have started much better, really. Within about 4 minutes, all coming from Raya, intercepting a cross from Fulham. Arsenal get on the counter-attack. The ball was playing on the left-hand side. Martinelli, who I think needed a big performance because I thought he's been rather poor over the last few weeks, actually showed some of that pace and showed some of that direct running, managed to get onto the ball and then managed to have that sort of bending shot, which is sort of parried by former Arsenal keeper Leno. And Saka sort of shinned it in. Seemed to take an absolute age on the VAR, obviously with the offside decision or not. It was very, very tight, but a goal was given. Everything looking all rosy. Didn't end up like that, did it? There was a warning shot coming our way before they scored. Willian, of course, had the season at Arsenal, wasn't particularly successful, but of course he had a decent game against us. Managed to feed Robinson, who crossed the ball to Raul Jimenez. Jimenez, of course, back from suspension after he got red card again a couple of weeks ago. Of course, back playing, of course, after his serious head injury when he was playing for Wolves. That happened at the Emirates. Raul's shot was well saved by Raya. Right, here's where it all gets a bit downhill for us, guys. The equaliser for Fulham. Now, Fulham winning the physical battle in just outside, on their defence. It was their defender Baisley wins the ball, and then he played it to Willian, who managed to keep it in somehow. Showed some great pace actually, and playing the ball to their captain Tom Kearney, crossed it. Jimenez was there, first time shot, and yeah, nothing Raya could have done with that. We did have one further effort before half-time. Ødegaard feeding Martinelli, who was in the penalty area, rather stretching at it, but his effort did manage to go just wide. The decision to play Kivior at left-back didn't really pan out so well. And Mikel Arteta did decide to bring the returning Tomiyasu back in at half-time. Didn't really work to plan. A little bit unfortunate, perhaps, but this is what happened. It was a corner for Fulham, and Paulinho, obviously the midfield player who caused us a lot of problems in the home game, beat Declan Rice initially to the ball, and sort of the ball sort of fell to Gabriel, who tried to clear it. It sort of bounced off Tomiyasu, and the ball just fell to Bobby Del Reed. It was an easy tap in. He couldn't miss. It was literally pretty much on the goal line. Saka had an effort briefly afterward, or shortly afterwards, I should say. Went way over the bar. But much like the previous game against West Ham, Arsenal really couldn't find their rhythm. We couldn't find our attacking prowess. Yeah, it just seems a massive lack of confidence in there. And it's a strange one because before then we had been playing so well. I know people are going to point fingers at Nketiah, but did he receive much of the ball? No. Did he show for the ball enough? That's going to be argued. Would he have done a better? Did he do a better job than Jesus did against West Ham? I thought Jesus didn't play particularly well against West Ham. So obviously lots of arguments. We're now in the January transfer window, and a lot of talk will be made about bringing in forwards to reinforce it. I honestly said, and I've said it before on the channel, I think we'll be lucky to get anyone in, but let's see what happens. I do want to touch on something. People are saying, "Oh, Mikel Arteta didn't have a plan B or anything like that. He didn't change anything." Well, he actually did. We did change tactics. Some might argue it might have been too late. I don't know. You tell me what you think. But we went to three centre halves. Tomiyasu, who did come on in the second half to play left back, he did sort of go over to right centre back. We ended up playing with the three centre halves. Nelson did come on. He played a little bit of a wing back kind of role, similar to what he did against West Ham. I'd like to hear your views on Martinelli because I thought he'd been rather poor over the last few weeks. Thought he had a better game against Fulham, but obviously not hitting the standards we expect in terms of the fluidity wasn't there. The other thing I want to touch upon is a very strange incident. Let me make sure I can find it in my notepad, guys. Very strange incident when Martinelli was taken off. Emil Smith-Rowe, who was there, he didn't come on at all, had a very, very odd exchange with Martinelli on the substitutes bench when Smith-Rowe goes to sort of shake his hand or whatever. I don't know whether to read into this too much or what, but it just seemed to very completely blanked him off, completely brushed off the gesture from Smith-Rowe. It was a weird one for me, very strange one. But so anyway, that was it. That was the result. We blew our chance to go top of the table, and obviously with Liverpool winning against Newcastle the other day, they're leading the way at the moment, and we've gone down to fourth position, I believe. I'll say this to you. We're in January, right? That league is very, very tight, even tighter now, perhaps. And I don't know quite what to think at the moment. Obviously, we're all both on the back of two bad defeats. Let's get it right. But I don't know. Maybe the reset that's needed is, who knows? I mean, the transfer window's open, guys. Anything could happen, couldn't it? We'll touch on that in a minute. But look, FA Cup coming up this weekend. That's always an exciting time. I think I said it was at Anfield on my previous video. It's not, of course. It's at the Emirates. So I'll pull myself up on that one. Before we talk about that cup tie, I think we need to talk about the issues about team players' availability, really, because as I sort of touched upon on the previous video, Tomiyasu's been called up for the Asian Cup. Mo El-Neni has gone to AFCON. Partey has not been called up. Let's not forget, by the way, Thomas Partey hasn't played for Arsenal since I think the back end of September. And Chris Hughton, his manager, was saying that they've been in touch with the club and Partey himself and everything. I'm sure they would have wanted to take him, but clearly they couldn't. A lot of nonsense written on X from people who think they know. I'd ignore that if I was you, Arsenal fans. I know it's a controversial subject, I know, but bottom line is he hasn't featured. He's picked up injury after injury. It's one of the reasons, perhaps, this Arsenal fan, I have my opinion, I don't think they'll be able to sell him this January window because he's injured. But I don't think he'll last through the summer window when we're done with this season, frankly. So that's the same. I'm talking about players that are unavailable as well. Zinchenko picked up an undisclosed injury, as far as I know. I don't know if it was from the West Ham game, perhaps. Ben White is still nursing his injury. He doesn't look anywhere near his best at the moment. So we're looking at a little bit light in players. One player that might come back to us, and Posh Bertie would be well happy with this. It's been reported from the Daily Express and other outlets that potentially we could recall one Kieran Tierney off Real Sociedad. Actually, I'd say that this is a must happen at this moment because with Tommy Asu, who's been tremendous for me at left back, but he obviously came up short this weekend. With the lack of the other options, Zinchenko, our failings on Zinchenko, having a proper old school defender there might be just the boost we need. We'll see. We'll see. I'm hopeful that we'll see some movement before the weekend, but especially if we can get KT back before the Liverpool game, I genuinely think we'll need it. We will definitely need to go strong against Liverpool. We'll cover that in more detail at some stage, but being that we've just had the 2 defeats on the trot, we need to stop the rot. We all need to go very, very strong. This will be a Liverpool side without Mo Salah, of course. So we, balancing up with our injuries and our players away as well. We just need to get back into winning ways, and we'll see what happens with that. It's interesting for me that certain players in our Arsenal side get criticised, and I'm talking about Nketiah, I'm talking about Martinelli, of course, and some of it's justified, but there's other players like Jesus and Saka and Trossard, as Bertie might have mentioned on his video. If you haven't seen Bertie's video, check it out on his own channel. When people were needed to step up, some people automatically get the criticism, and Starboy and Jesus don't seem to get an awful lot of criticism. I think the whole front line looks a bit confused and a little bit stale. And yeah, it's calling out for a transfer target to come in. Yeah, I'd largely agree with anyone who's saying, "Oh, let's get bring in a striker, do this, that, and other." It's I feel it's highly unlikely it's going to happen. Would love to see it though, and I'd love to be proved wrong. So January the 2nd, we're at now. Windows open. People are going to be saying, "Come on, has Edu made it? What is Edu doing? Has it made any moves yet?" Let's see what happens. Look, we'll bring more as we get it here on the channel. Thank you very much, everyone who's taken the trouble to watch our videos. And the channel has been growing greatly over this season in particular. So thank you all for your support. Happy New Year to you. What I will do before I disappear, let me find the banner, which I can't seem to find for some reason. There it is. Don't forget to follow us on our social media pages. Consider following us on Twitter or X. We are at Goonily Meads for me, at Gooner Gathering for our main channel. Make sure you check us out on the Instagram, which Bertie is running still. And the TikTok channel is there as well for the funny little clips and stuff. So that's me done for today, everybody. Hope you enjoyed my little take on the Fulham game. Let's hope we return to winning ways really soon, because goodness me, we need it. Look after yourselves, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you soon.